On the evening of the 8th of November, 1939, one man quietly slipped into a Munich beer hall, carved out the pillar behind the podium, and set a time bomb. Minutes later, the roof collapsed, and the target had already left. Today, we turn the clock back to a moment that could have changed history. A single carpenter, a simple plan, and a nearly fatal missed tick of timing. Welcome to the story of Georg Elser. Georg Elser was born 4th January 1903 in Hermeringen, Württemberg. He worked as a carpenter and clockmaker, quiet, unassuming. But in the late 1930s, he watched with growing alarm as the Nazi regime marched Germany into militarization, war, and dictatorship. He concluded that in order to stop Hitler, someone would have to suffer. Elser decided it would be him. He chose the venue of the annual speech on the anniversary of the beer hall putsch at the Burger Braukeller in Munich. He spent months preparing, stealing time, smuggling explosives, hollowing out a pillar behind the stage. Summer 1939, Elser moves to Munich. He begins nightly incursions into the beer hall after closing, chiseling, concealing, setting his bomb. He hides under the guise of a patron, lending in. He installed a time mechanism designed to go off precisely during Hitler's speech. The plan was to destroy Hitler and the Nazi high command in one blast, and by doing so prevent a war, he thought. Even so, there were variables. Security was lax, yet unpredictable. On 8th November, the hall was packed. Hitler arrived, delivered his speech, and then left earlier than scheduled. 8 minutes later, or 13 minutes by some accounts, the bomb exploded. The blast killed 8 and injured dozens. Hitler? Unscathed. He climbed aboard his train back to Berlin, quite literally ahead of the explosion. How do you deal with a near-history-changing event? For Elser, it meant immediate capture. He'd already slipped toward the Swiss border, arrested, interrogated. He insisted he acted alone. Hitler's regime preferred a different narrative that included foreign agents, sabotage, British spies, and the lot. Convenient. But history now says Elser was acting solo. In the end, he spent years imprisoned, and on April 9, 1945, was executed at the Dachau concentration camp, just weeks before Germany's defeat. What if it had worked? If the timer had been set 10 minutes earlier, if Hitler hadn't cut his speech short, if the train schedule had been different, the course of war might have shifted. Negotiations, leadership change, perhaps a different outcome. Historians call it one of the most profound what-ifs. So, that was the one where they almost killed Hitler. A carpenter, a beer hall, a bomb in a pillar, and a few minutes of difference. History ticked onward, because timing didn't align. If you enjoy these odd corners of history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Next time, we'll dive into another weird twist in history's tale.